Hi guys, today I wanted to film my spring favorites and I have so many things to share with you, which was surprising to me, but a lot of these came from my most recent speed reviews because there were so many things that I tested over the past month and really enjoyed. So I'm excited to give you guys my best of the best here from all of the things that I have rediscovered or tried for the first time over the past 3 months. But I want to start with my random favorite so I don't forget it. And I went to a concert in March. I've only been to like 2 concerts in my life. One was like a smaller concert. Pat Monahan, who is the lead singer of Train, did like a solo thing. So I went to one of those concerts because my mom is like obsessed with Train. And then I went to like a punk band concert with a friend in college back in the day, which was really fun. But I got tickets and took Justin with me to see Flyana Boss. So they blew up on TikTok a few years ago and now these girls are all over the world. They were traveling with Janelle Monáe and now they're on their own tour, which is so cool. And I was able to buy a shirt. I should have been wearing it, which was so exciting. That is something that I want to do whenever I go to a show. I do that whenever I go to a RuPaul's Drag Race show, is I always buy a shirt to just like commemorate the experience. So hopefully I will end up with a nice collection of shirts. But their concert was a really small club, but it was amazing. It was packed with so many fans and the tickets were incredibly affordable. And because they're newer artists, they don't have a million bajillion songs and usually they're like 2 minutes long. So they were able to sing all of their songs, which was exciting. And they even sang some new songs that had not yet been released at that time. They have now been released and I have been listening to them non-stop. And the songs that I've been loving are called Yeah and Money At. Big cheddar, where my money at. And the beat that comes to that song, like the bass drop is like, oh, I love it so much. And then there are a couple other new songs they just released. Skateboard is something where I'm like, what is that? Like that seems like a random song to me and is not as catchy. Stupendous, I'm still getting into that one, but I liked it a bit more. But it was so much fun. They were having a great time. They were so lively. They were interacting with the crowd and their last song was their biggest hit and they actually brought people on the stage to sing with them, which was really cool. And their biggest hit, you guys may have seen them on TikTok a couple years ago where they would just be running through different places and then companies started reaching out to them like, come run through IKEA, come run through Best Buy, singing your song, which was so cool. I was always so excited to see a new video from them and it is just so amazing how they've blown up and they just seem like such great girls. They're very young and just amazing. I love their style of music and it was such a fun concert. I would definitely love to see them again if they came to the area again in the near future or their next concert tour. I would love to go again. And then in August, I'm gonna be seeing Avril Lavigne with my sister, which I'm so excited about. So now into the beauty favorites, starting with face. First is a rediscovery. This is the Estee Lauder Double Wear Foundation. This is one of my very first foundation loves. And I remember that my first bottle I bought from a CCO, it was a perfect shade for me. The formula was so nice and I swear the formula has changed since then. I've actually worked at an Estee Lauder counter and they were like, no, it hasn't. And I was like, I swear to you, the color is darker. It's not as matte. It's not as full coverage. And I don't know, I am still such a full coverage girl, even though I have gotten to love so many skin tints. Whenever people say this is super full coverage matte foundation, I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, I think this gives like a really nice medium to full coverage. It has more of a satin finish. It wears really nicely. I have one W1 bone, which is a smidge dark for me, but still works really well. I love this foundation. It's something that I will definitely buy again in the future once I finish this or work through a few more foundations if I'm being good. But I bought an Amazon foundation pump to use for this and it is so wonderful. It's cheaper than the Estee Lauder because it comes in a 2-pack and I used it with the L'Oreal dropper foundation. It's just so smooth. It's so perfect. But this is just so incredible. I'm so happy to use it again and really love it. Then for cheeks, I surprisingly loved using the Marc Jacobs Omega Bronzer in Tantastic. This is something I had gotten on sale years ago. Marc Jacobs Beauty has been out of business for a long time, but I never quite got the hype. I thought it was a nice color, a nice formula, but I didn't get it. I get it now. This is a nice like neutral color, which goes perfect with my spring makeup. I feel like there's a little air bubble in there, which scares me. I'm not gonna want to repress this because it does change the formula. So let's just cross our fingers that this will hang on for a long time. I'm trying to work in the other areas, but I think this is a perfect shade, a perfect amount of pigmentation, blendability. I just hate how bulky it is, but this is something that I definitely have got a new appreciation for, and I'm happy that I have it in my collection. And then my highlight favorite, if you guys have watched my makeup of the days on Instagram, you're not surprised. Benefit Sickle Girl. It is so good. So it is pink, but you can see that light like peachy golden flash to it, which makes this so flattering on my skin. It doesn't look like whoa pink or whoa dark. It is perfect, like this is literal perfection. I love this formula because it's very pigmented and reflective, but it's not glittery. It's very smooth. I am like begging Benefit to come out with more shades in this formula, not like the Twinkle formula. I don't like that one very much, but this is so good. It is so good. I would love to see more shades from them. I love this one and Cookie, but Cookie is just like a little too icy depending on the look. It's very intense. Then I'm talking with my hands so much. I feel like Abby Grace on TikTok. Then for blushes, so many things here that I've fallen in love with. First would be these Rare Beauty liquid blushes, which is such a surprise to me because it's just the easiest to use cream blushes, either in a stick or a compact, or powder blushes. But these were not that challenging to use because these are lighter shades. So we have this gorgeous pink Adore and the peach shade is Bliss. And I would just put a little dollop on the back of my hand and then, oh, a little splish splash just fell on my pants. And then I would just work it in with a sponge and just tap it on my cheeks, and it just looked stunning. Beautiful, easy to work with. These are just perfect springy shades. And then I think all the other blushes I have here to talk about are new. So I really enjoyed the Flower Beauty Ultra Light Liquid Blush in Peachy. It is not as light as the packaging. And I know some people have had issues with this. I haven't. Now, the Liquid Highlight was the hardest to work with. The Liquid Contour I'm painting right now works fine, but this one I feel like looked beautiful in the skin, gave a gorgeous like dew look. There's not really shimmer in here, and it just worked well. I mean, definitely don't apply this over powder, but under powder it worked nicely. It was really pretty. I'm not going to buy other shades, but I do think that one was really nice. And then I did pull out my big bucks for the Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk Matte Beauty Blush Wand because State of Kate and so many other people love this. Haven't really been able to find a dupe for it. And this is a really pretty shade. For both of those, would like tap it on my cheek and then directly, like immediately blend it out with my sponge to make sure I didn't have like a dot set on the skin. And it worked beautifully. I was nervous about the blend with it being a matte formula, but it was great. So I'm not going to buy the other shades, but I am happy that I have that one. And I can get why it's so popular. I just wish that it was like $10 cheaper. Next would be the Kaja Dewy Bars. And this is a lip and cheek product. And I did do a cheek swatch video on all of these, which I will have linked down below. I also swatched them on my lips. This is a product I'm going to be using as a cream blush. I think it is shaped this way to help you put it on your lips. It's easy for the bottom lip. The top lip, I feel like you have to like, you know, position your mouth a certain way to not make a mess. You definitely cannot apply this on the go. But these are very pigmented, very creamy, easy to blend out. I don't feel like they disturb my makeup. And I will apply these under powder. But if I need a little bit more, I will just tap my brush on the product and then just tap it on my cheeks. Not like buffing, but just tapping it on, and it does not disturb my makeup, which is wonderful. And I think that all of the shades are gorgeous. These are definitely my top three. This is Grapefruit Gelato, Fig Smoothie, and Cranberry Cooler. So gorgeous. Highly recommend these. They are like $25, $26, which I think is very reasonably priced. These do have a dewy finish. No shimmer, just a dew. They are not going to set down. So if that's going to bother you, set your skin. But these are just gorgeous cream blushes, and I think that they have a nice variety of shades here. Definitely something I could see them being able to expand on. They definitely could do like a lighter cool tone baby pink that everybody's loving, but Really, really great. Definitely recommend you guys check those out. Next, from Patrick Ta, we have one of his new blush duos. This is in the shade Not Too Much. I was worried this would not show up on my skin tone, even though I'm fair, but I do like a more intense blush. This was perfect. I love these undertones. It was so beautiful on my skin. These are very pigmented, so be careful. And I do apply it like he says. So I do the powder first, and then I've been taking the cream on a sponge. But I have to be really careful with these to not be too heavy-handed because I'm so pale. But I think this would also work for light and light medium skin tones because of the pigment, and it's not too white based, even though it is a light shade, more of a muted shade. I think this is really gorgeous. I'm very happy to have this in my collection. Next, we have some powder blushes. This is NARS Orgasm Edge, a beautiful matte blush. You guys know this is my type of shade. I know I have other blushes similar to this, but this looks so good. This is nice and pigmented. You're gonna get a little bit of kick up, but not a ton. I like blushes that are a little bit more powdery, but it is not too firmly pressed. This is really nice. Then I also have the two new Haus Labs blushes in French Rosette and Fire Moon. I think these are absolutely stunning. Pigmented, these are a little bit more powdery, and these would work well on several skin tones. I was worried that this would look a little bit odd on me, but I actually really enjoyed it. I think these will be perfect in summer for more of that sunburnt look, so I probably will pull these out again to use. Like everyone, I wish these were a little bit bigger. I understand that they probably were not making as much profit off of their first blushes because we were getting so much product, but it feels like they could have met in the middle between the amount they used to have and the amount they have now. Then moving on to eyes, I have a nice mix of new things and old favorites, but for old favorites that still are just at that tippy top obsessed, I have the Dose of Colors Eyedeal Duo in Magic Moment. You've got a really sticky cream shadow on the top and then a loose pigment on the bottom. This is the most perfect peachy rose gold color. It looks so incredibly reflective on the lids. And then I also really love Natasha Denona Mini Biba. I use all of the shades and I think it's so stunning. You guys know that colors like this are irresistible for me. And then I also got a ton of use out of my custom Z palette. Unfortunately, not really for the shimmers because I was testing other palettes, but definitely for these mattes, especially Secrets and Labrynth here. And then I did use some of these other ones that were depotted from ColourPop palettes, but I just think the ColourPop matte formula is amazing. I haven't purchased one of their palettes in a really long time, but this just makes me really happy looking at this palette. Then for my new fun eyeshadows, all indie of course, I have some singles from Oden's Eye. This is from their original multi-chrome launch. I definitely am wanting to get the new ones. And I did buy the compact for these because I knew that I would use them more in a compact than I would in a large palette. I'm really bad at using my singles in palettes. So this is Isabella, which is definitely a gorgeous copper with a strong green flash. So like not the most springy shade, but I really wanted to use it. And then this one is Judy, and it's purple, but you've got pink and you've got blue in there. It is just so gorgeous, and these are so smooth, so easy to work with. I definitely want to get more shades from them. I'll probably try to wait until like Black Friday time. And then this is another palette that I just absolutely love. This would be from Sugar Drizzle. It is their Sugar Dreams palette. You have 9 all shimmer shades and they're just so incredible. I love Candy Clouds and Sweet Dreams the most. I think I used some of the other pinky purple shades, but I did not use the blue and green this time. But I love those shades so much. I would buy the palette again just for those shades. They're just so reflective and gorgeous. I'll have some of my favorite makeup of the days linked down below. But I highly recommend this palette. As I said, have not tried anything else from them, so I would love to hear your recommendations. Then we have new palettes. So this is Glaminatrix Cosmetics Rich Romantic. I love this palette. Everything is fantastic and its performance. Loved all the mattes, and all of the shimmers are very multi-dimensional. The only color I did not like is Intoxicating. On my skin tone, it doesn't do anything. For someone darker than me, that could be a nice primer setting shade, but I really would have loved to just see something else, something more fun, or a darker matte, a darker pink, but not too similar to this. So other than that, I think this is a great variety of shades without looking like too mismatched. I'm really impressed with the colors that they chose for that one. Then from Inslee Rain, this is the Flower Moon palette. This is not their most current version. They changed the packaging in a couple of the shades. Not sure if the formula is different. I am wearing these two on my lids today. As of the time I'm filming this video, I have used all of them except for this lime green and this matte green. So I will do a look with those two coming up soon so that I can have used every single shade in here. But I was so impressed with this formula. There are too many greens in here. While they're different, they weren't all necessary. There's too many greens. I would have liked to have seen something different, but very impressed with the quality of this, and it's really, really beautiful. Then we've got this fancy pants. This is the Lands of Enchantment palette from Inslee Rain, and this is going to be moving into my summer makeup as well because I didn't get to use all of the shades. I did a couple different looks with this, and I did pull into the mattes a lot to go with this one. And I was very impressed with these pastel mattes, and the shimmers are amazing. This is such great quality. I'm using a lot of the purple mattes today. This is a very, very, very expensive palette. It's huge, but it's very expensive. And they have really expensive shipping, but they do package your products so carefully. You will have a box with the same design, and inside is foam that was perfectly cut to fit the palette, and then that box is in a bigger box with paper and stuff. So it is very secure, but still expensive. I definitely want to get Groovy Garden, but I'm waiting until a friend wants to make a purchase with me, or until they release something else that I want, just so shipping will be more worth it. And then this is something that I won in a giveaway from Makeup on Your Radar on Instagram. And this is the Cosmic Brushes Winter Wonderland palette. And I'm so glad I got this one because it's been on my wish list, but I don't wear blues enough to really justify buying an all blue palette. But this is amazing. For this being all blues, 5, 10, 15, 20, they did an incredible job having such a good variety of some that are more purple, some that are more green, and I'm just so amazed. They have a really great variety of shimmers and mattes. There are a few more mattes, I believe, but I was really impressed with the pigmentation and the performance of this palette. Definitely would recommend that, and I want to check out more from the brand. And they are a lot cheaper than other indie brands, but the quality of the packaging feels a little bit cheaper, but I honestly don't mind. So next we have a whole bunch of liners. So of course I just have my pastel favorites that have been favorites of mine for a few years. From ColourPop, we have Prance and Zulu. Zulu is not around anymore except maybe in their big set, but they have discontinued it and brought it back so many times. I love these liners for my waterline and lower lash line. They are a bit more of a dry formula. I don't mind because I have oily under eyes, but I would say don't put this on your upper lash line or it's probably gonna break off on you. These, however, are much creamier, but like everything else I love, these you cannot buy individually anymore. You can only buy them in a set on the Nobble website, maybe some other places. This is the Cupid's Arrow liner, and we have lavender and mint. These are just amazing, so pigmented, so creamy, and I was so impressed with that because they are pastels, where most pastel liners, cough cough, Oden's eye, you have to like run back and forth 100 times, and these are just perfect. These colors are a little bit more white based, but they are pastel, so loved those. Then we have my favorite everyday eyeliners that I just used up this past month, unfortunately, but at least they last me to the end of spring. So this is the ColourPop Creme Gel Liner in Rosette. It is a stunning rose gold copper. It was a limited edition shade. If they ever brought it back, I would buy multiple. This is so perfect for adding just a little bit of color and sparkle to jazz up a neutral look. It goes really well with my peachy eye looks that I love. And then I have Dose of Colors eyeliner in Teddy, been discontinued. This is a gorgeous rosy tan brown, and I surprisingly loved this with my peachy eyeshadows as well, and this also really brought out the green in my eyes. This is a bit more of a dry formula, and this was also pretty old in my collection, but if these were still available, I would definitely buy them again. I'm just feel very lucky that I got to use them so much. Then I had a couple mascara favorites. First is the Too Faced Better Than Sex Foreplay Primer. This is a black mascara primer, and I think this does a great job of giving some length, some separation. I don't know what the difference is. I would love to hear one of the makeup chemists talk about like what these are actually supposed to do for your lashes. If I get another one, I will use it up. I might buy it if I could get it half off, but not for less of a discount than that, but it's really nice. Then I've also been loving the Tarte Tartelette Tubing Mascara. This is fantastic. It is a wet formula, which I enjoy. You've got this nice plastic brush here that again gives great length and separation. I do feel like I'm able to get some volume, some thickness at the base though, because of the more wet formula. And this does not run on my watery eyes, so I love that. I don't really normally care for tubing mascaras. I've not been impressed. The one from Merit and Cali Ray I think did nothing for me. I like this way better. And another tubing mascara, don't come from a tubing mascara community. I'm not testing all of them. I don't know which ones are like the most tubing like, but basically if you want a stay in place mascara, this e.l.f. lash extender is really nice, and I bought it because I wanted the brown shade, and this is a brown mascara that actually looks brown. I think maybe Kelly Gooch compared a couple of different brown mascaras. I was gonna get the one from Tower 28, but this is more brown, more noticeably brown, and this has a very similar brush to the Tarte Tartelette Tubing. This is something that I will definitely repurchase again in the future, and I will get in black. I would love to pair this with more of a volumizing mascara to get my perfect lashes, but because this is brown, I've been using it on its own and been really impressed. It's very pretty. For lips, I surprisingly have several favorites, a lot of these being from the past month, but some were from earlier. First, I'm really enjoying the ColourPop So Juicy Plumping Lip Liner. I specifically love the color Westwood, and then the Plumping Gloss Balms. I like all of the ones that I purchased. I am going to have a lip swatch video on Instagram coming soon, but these are really nice. So the lip liners are very creamy, so that is not going to be everyone's preference. I do get that cooling minty sensation from them, which I like, and that's the plumping aspect, the cooling bit, and especially with the gloss bombs, these are super shiny, so that makes your lips look fuller. These are very messy, so you cannot click up too much, you cannot press too hard, you cannot leave these in your pocket or in the car, of course, or it'll be a big mess. And these definitely look more pigmented on the lips than they did when I swatched them on my hand. I was really impressed by these. Definitely one of my favorite ColourPop lip products that I've tried, especially in a really long time, and I would love to see more shades. I decided to be a bougie girl fancy pants during the Sephora sale, and I got one of the YSL candy glazes in, what's the color called? 15. It is the Peachy Nude color. I loved this. It looks so pretty on the lips, give a nice gorgeous shine. This does have more of a fruity scent. So thankful though that it's not that disgusting floral that a lot of luxury brands like to do. And what's nice about this and the way that it is different from my favorite Makeup by Mario lippies is that this is firmer, it's a little bit more sticky, it's not near as goopy, and I really like it. It looks so beautiful. I don't think I'm gonna buy any other shades, but this one is just perfect for me. I'm so glad that one of my stores had this in like a special display. They don't normally have YSL, so I was able to swatch it, and oh, it is so good. Then for some lip glosses, what I'm wearing it today and what I wore so many times in spring as a topper is this Buxom lip cream in Rosette. It was limited edition, unfortunately, but whenever I'm doing a purple eye look, I would put on a pink lip and it just looked too much of like a warm leaning pink when I wanted it to be more cool. And this on its own is pretty lilac, it's pretty purple, but as a topper, it just cools things down perfectly. This is such a good adjuster. I'm so glad that I bought this when I found it a couple years ago at TJ Maxx. I wish they would bring this back. They do have another lavender color that might work in the same way. I think that one might be a little bit lighter and more pink, but probably give you that similar effect. So I love this formula, but it has been just perfect to use in that capacity. And then I have a couple other gloss formulas that I feel to be very similar in that these are both more of like a gel serum consistency, which I love. I don't mind glosses are a little bit thicker when they don't feel thick, heavy, or sticky when they're that gel serum, because I feel like they hang on a little bit longer than like a Tower 28 gloss, but they're not going to feel thick and sticky or leave a thick and sticky feeling behind like a Lawless gloss. So they're just amazing. So first we've got the Summer Fridays Dream Lip Oils. I bought Soft Mauve and Blush Dreams, and these are similar shades. They just have like different undertones, cooler, warmer, and they only have 4 shades in their line. I think these are the only ones I need. I would love to see them expand it though. This does have a light to medium opacity, looks very glossy and feels so comfortable on the lips. And then I have the Jouer Tinted Hydrating Lip Oils in Esprit and Rosette. I would love to get more of these. I think that they are so good. Both of these have a bigger applicator. This is the Summer Fridays. And this is the one from Jouer, which is a little bit smaller, but I love this. I think this is perfect, especially for people that have like all different sizes of lips. I don't think this will be too big or too small. It's definitely like a workable size, but I love that these are brighter shades. I was thinking originally that these might be similar to the Maybelline Lifter glosses. They are, but especially the shades that I have compared to the Maybelline ones that I have, but that is more of like a cream formula. It reminds me of the Fenty Gloss Bomb creams, but this is, like I said, that gel consistency. It feels so smooth. They're so gorgeous and comfortable and shiny and give a really nice, again, light medium amount of opacity. I'm going to keep my eye out for a future sale from Jouer so I can pick up a few other shades. These are so, so good. I have a few more minutes that I'm going to swatch these lippies here and show them to you, but I forgot to mention with these YSL lippies, because they're not so mushy, they actually do twist back down, which is nice, but still be careful, don't twist up too much. All right, so here we've got the lippies. We have the ColourPop lip liner in Westwood, the So Juicy Plumping Pen in Vacay Mode. The YSL, I believe, is Showcasing Nude is the color of that. And then the Buxom Gloss in Frosé. Then we've got Summer Fridays and Blush Dreams in Soft Mauve, and Jouer in Esprit and Rosette. So guys, those were my many favorites from spring. Again, old favorites and some new products that I tried and fell in love with. I would love to hear your thoughts if you've tried any of these products in the comments down below. And I would love to know what products that you fell in love with recently or were your must-haves from spring. I want to thank y'all so much for watching this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye guys.